Everybody, I'm good to go here.
Okay.
So I'm Cole. I'm one of the Academy ambassadors in the IT field. I take part in the construction trade program over at Chrisman.
All right, awesome.
You can go ahead and take a minute to introduce yourself and a little bit about your career field.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Mo Cisneros. I work as an outreach specialist with the Kansas City Carpenters Apprenticeship, and our regional council is includes St. Louis and Kansas City. I've been a carpenter for the past 26 years. Moved my way from instructing for the past 13 years, and now moved into this full-time position as an outreach specialist. So I work with school districts like yours, Independence, Missouri, Kansas City, Lexington, several others throughout the Kansas City metro area. And we did some testing just this week, and I'd have some more in the next coming weeks. And like I said, I was in your shoes, in 1992, trying to figure out what to do for a career, and went to college for a year, but it didn't work out. And I'll answer that question later because I know it's one of the other questions you're going to ask. But I've been a carpenter 26 years, and what I do now is try to recruit kids like yourself. Like you said, you go to the William Chrisman program with Mr. Amos, right?
That is correct.
And did you do the testing just the other day?
I was there the other day. Yep.
Okay, awesome. I see
one test.
Okay. Did you pass?
I did. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So hopefully you're eligible for that internship we talked about earlier. Yep. We can talk about that later on. But yeah, like I said, 26 years a carpenter. I can literally in the next 5 years retire, but I'm not done yet. So I still like my job now as full-time recruiting because there's so many things I get involved with high school kids and different programs and different outreaches that help benefit, young people who like yourself who are interested in doing something after school to make it a viable career option.
Very interesting. Thanks for taking time to join us on our virtual career fair today.
Yeah,
I have
no problem.
questions for you so that our students can have a chance to learn more about you and your career pathway. How'd you get to where you are now?
Well, like I said, the journey started in 1994 with when I got out of college, I went to Kansas State University for a year to study architecture. So this was on a whim because I wanted to start paying back student loans because those are important. So in 1994, I joined the carpenter apprenticeship and worked my way into 1998, becoming a journeyman. And then 12 years in the field as a journeyman, I decided to give back to the program. They gave me a chance. So I sent in my resume, had some qualifications as far as military experience and college, and became a carpenter instructor. I did not realize that I had a knack for teaching, which in our profession, when you become a journeyman, you learn as much as you can with other journeymen's influences, and then hopefully you start journeying on your own to make your own way in the construction trade. But you as a journeyman are a teacher, regardless of what, some people tell you, you are a teacher because you mentor a young apprentice and you bring them up. It's kind of like Ben Kenobi and Luke Skywalker, right? So I felt as Ben Kenobi, passed along my knowledge and became an instructor and hadn't looked back since. That's been a wonderful 13-year career as an instructor, which folded into an outreach with these school districts like yourselves that needed, some more potential students interested in a program. Again, with what's going on in today's world with infrastructure the way it is and how we need more people emphasizing on building trades careers, it's just as viable option as going to college. Matter of fact, apprenticeship is a 4-year degree, just like a 2-year degree if you would go to a community college. So that's been pretty much my pathway, and to this point. And like I said, I'm not done yet. I can punch my time clock card out in the next 5 years, but I don't think so. I think I still have more left to do as far as resources and such.
Awesome. To expand on that, where would you like your career to go into the future?
Well, I have another option. I mean, once I retire, I like to get back to our whole organization, which includes teaching at our training center in Las Vegas, which I was doing that a year or so ago before COVID. I was going out there to our training center and teaching other journeymen throughout the country and kind of influencing that next generation of instructors, because I help influence journeymen, help influence apprentices. So now it's really had to step up my game one more level to be able to influence instructors all across the country. Because again, it's like Ben Kenobi trying to teach Yoda, a new trick. So that's your level of influence has to be that much higher, and your level of knowledge has to be much higher. So that's why I think that's pretty critical for me to be in my next step is to after I retire, hopefully they'll let me train more and more out there at the training center, which of course is in sunny Las Vegas.
What's the best part about your job?
The best part of my job is talking to young folks. I mean, if I had somebody in my shoes years ago talking to me as a young guy, I mean, things would have been different. I mean, not to say, being a carpenter 26 years, I haven't looked back, but to influence people, that to me is the ultimate. If you can decide and have some people think, okay, maybe this is a good option. Mr. Amos told me that there's 2 kids in your class who decided to join the military. Is that correct? The Marine Corps?
That is correct.
And they're going into combat engineering. So that was my field of expertise in the military also. So again, if I can help influence people and give them options and show them that there's pathways, and you're not a product of your environment just because you go to an inner city school, which I went to an inner city school too. It's nothing wrong against that. You have to start someplace to make yourself propel to the next step in your life. So that to me is very beneficial if I can influence people in a positive way every day.
Awesome. Is there anything about your job that isn't so enjoyable?
Well, sometimes it takes me away from my family, which that's the only downfall. But I get to now watch my kid. If my boy played basketball, I get to watch it over, Zoom cam and stuff like that. But that's probably the only bad I can think about. Being away from them. But again, being away means I'm out of town. I'm talking to people. I'm influencing. So, I mean, there's a give and take. My family's been very supportive over the years. My wife has been with me for the past 23 years, and she's been on this ride with me since I was an apprentice, a journeyman, and now an instructor. So she sees the progression of what I do and how important it is.
That's awesome. What was the first job you ever had, and what did you learn from it?
Well, the first job I had was working for the Kansas City, Missouri School District as a 17-year-old. I think it was 16 or 17. I did my summertime job, but I worked as, they called us tar babies. We resurfaced playgrounds in the summertime while nobody was on them, of course, and it was very influential because I ran into a retired carpenter who retired after 31 years and worked for the school district and just worked with young guys, doing training like that, and had no idea what he's telling me to do. Pick a career in construction. Because that could be pretty influential later on in life, in which, I didn't pay any much attention to them. My ambitions back then was to go to college, and I picked architecture because I wanted to blend the best of both worlds, learn the technical skills as a carpenter, technical skills as an architect to think and design, but to learn and have carpentry as a skill too, to build with my hands too. So, it was a job that lasted 2 summers. I got hired and worked hard. And that's what that old gentleman told me. He goes, work hard, and that will influence people because they have to see you. They have to see you produce something. And if you stay hard with it, good things will come from it, he said. And then they have. I've been very fortunate and blessed to, work hard and dedicate myself to something that is meaningful to other people.
It's very cool. What did your educational path look like to get you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you asked. Like I said, I started off going to college at Kansas State University. I graduated from Lincoln High School, or Lincoln College Preparatory Academy in Kansas City. So I had the grades to go to college. But when I got there, I didn't have the architectural background. So I fumbled a little bit in my first year, and that's why I didn't pursue it afterwards, because I studied CAD, computer aided drafting, and found out in college I wouldn't go to I wouldn't touch a computer until my junior year. So my freshman year, man, I bombed that studio class big time. So anyway, came out of college, went to the Army, or well, no, sorry, to pay for college, I joined the Army. So that was another career path that I chose for my education too, to pay for schooling. So I picked carpenter in the Army, which was pretty, influential because they had no idea that's going to be my number one field of choice, carpentry later
Yeah.
on in life. But anyway, went to school, a couple college classes. But anyway, when I became an instructor, they made me go back to school, which didn't matter because I wanted to go back to school because I wasn't done with my education because I felt like I needed to still pursue that. So I got my associate's degree in applied science at Metropolitan Community College, and I have my bachelor's degree from Penn State University in career tech education. So I really tell people all the time, I said, get some company, get an organization to pay for your schooling. Uncle Sam paid for some of my schooling before I got in. And then I have my employer now, which is the Carpenters Regional Council, pay for the rest of my schooling. So if you can find a company, find an institution that will invest money in you as a person and pay for your college, that's even better. That's the way to go. You had to put some sweat equity in it too, which I did. And of course, they really like the fact that, I had no idea that education would be my number one thing. If someone told me 20 years ago, if I would become a teacher, I would have laughed at them. I'm like, yeah, right. I used to make fun of teachers. They're nerds, right? But I can look back now and say, well, I'm a nerd. I'm a teacher. So, go figure. I love it. I love the fact that I'm considered a nerd now.
Nice. What is your definition of success?
Great question, Cole.
Yeah.
You can't put money on a success. You can't drive around a big red Ford truck or have a house in Lakewood or Lake Lotawana and call that success. My success to me is being influential. If you can have people decide to listen to you, be that person that they mentor to. I mentor apprentices, journeymen, students all the time. And I measure success if those people take your advice, take your influence, and they learn from that. That's success. You can't put a monetary value on that. If you can influence people, and legacy is a big thing with me too. I talk to people all across the state and all across the country all the time. And they always look back and say, well, look, hey, if I have any questions, let me have you call Mo Cisneros. If my name could get dropped, that makes me successful because, that makes somebody else influenced and that somebody else consider what I said, tell them to be a valuable experience. So, and again, my success every day when I was a teacher was listening to those apprentices talk about having their first. They got a job, they get married, buy their first house, have their first child. To me, that's success too, because they're willing to share that with you, and because I help mentor those people and help them develop. So to me, anytime I can develop somebody's character or their life or influence them, to me, that's success to me.
Awesome. So you've already mentioned hard work being something that students can do to prepare them. Is there anything even more specific for students to get prepared for a job in a field like your own?
Yeah, be very flexible. If they can get like a part-time job and try to work some work ethic into, because like I said, in your classroom, Mr. Amos teaches everything you can about construction, right? But
Yeah.
he can't at the end of the day teach you the hard value of work, the work ethic, to be on time every day, to get up no matter what the weather is outside. Because again, I've had those days where it's cold, minus 15-degree wind chill factor. I'm thinking, should I get outside of bed today? Or when it's 110 heat index, I really didn't want to get out of work, get outside and do work. But those are those soft skills that you have to have with you. Be flexible enough. Hey, throw on an extra pair of long underwear and say, okay, let's kill it today. Let's get out there and and make a snowman and roll him down the hill and or in the heat of the summer, hey, bring another pair of t-shirts with you because you're going to get drenched by the end of the day or the end of the afternoon. You have to have that the willingness to jump into wholeheartedly, learn from that experience and roll with it, roll with the punches, so to speak. You ever heard that cliche? Roll with the punches. Construction is doggy dog sometimes. And if you can prepare yourself mentally for that type of challenge and look forward to it, getting over that hurdle every day and looking back and say, well, yeah, that was nothing. Bring on the next day. To me, that's what I look forward to every day. I look forward to a challenge because the challenges wake me up. Challenges get me out of bed. The challenges stir my emotions and get me pumped up every day to try to overcome those limitations, because they're not limitations. Everybody has road obstacles and roadblocks that permit them to say, well, I want to stay in bed, or I don't want to turn on the computer today. You got to get past that and be mentally ready for the challenge every day. And if you can think about the challenge and overcome it every day, you've already defeated it. You've already gotten past it. You just got to wait for the next day to come up.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, like I said, for you guys, in the construction trade class, hey, Mr. Amos, is going to pour every ounce of his knowledge in you. And again, just be receptive of that. Be thinking about, okay, if he's going to give us this advice, hey, I should learn from it. Because again, if you're in a program, you're going to deal with the same type of thing. You're going to work with so many journalists, give you so much advice, give you so many different ways to look at things, to look at problems, and problem solve. You yourself have to put together the pieces of the puzzle and decide what to do next for you. And if you can put that together every day, look at a challenge every day, and overcome those obstacles and stay positive, you're going to be success in the carpenter apprenticeship or in construction in general. And I'm just being biased because I'm a carpenter, but I try to help everybody out to try to get into any type of construction trade program, whether it's carpenters, whether it's ironworkers, pipe fitters, electricians, ironworkers, whatever. So I hope that it helps you out a little bit, Cole.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to us today. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Hey, I appreciate it. And like I said, I should have those certificates to you guys pretty soon from your class, and that way you can hopefully be interested in that internship for later on this year, or maybe starting next summer. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Take care,
Bye.
guys. You have good holidays. All right.
You too.